So this was Saturday at a uh, notorious Zionist-infested university in my city of St. Louis. My last stream, I actually interviewed comrades RJ and Daniel. They attend WashU and are proud organizers with the Resist WashU collective. So that was last week. This was last Saturday. So as we see, the hedge fund slash property managers slash puppet of defense contractors at WashU has chosen to do this to students, to professors, and even a presidential candidate. The Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein was among those. First, they smashed the fucking bicycle into her chest. Oh, what's up, Nate? They smashed the fucking bicycle into her chest, threw her to the ground, and arrested her. Mhm. This was wholly and entirely unnecessary. Entirely unnecessary. There was no justification for doing this. These kids were literally like standing in a fucking line with their arms locked, and the police walked up like it's a fucking medieval battle and just started pulling them apart, throwing them to the ground, using chemical munitions, and doing a bunch of other stupid shit. Jill Stein might be a crazy anti-vaxxer, but I respect her for showing solidarity. Honestly, like, she's not RFK fucking Jr. She's not RFK fucking Jr. A lot of people respect her. A lot of comrades in town respect her because of her brave stand. Like, St. Louis is a place where you come to a protest, you're liable to get arrested because that's what these cops turn out for. The same day that neo-Nazis marched in West Virginia, you have the police doing this. Like, where are the cops? The police didn't intervene because the march was supposedly peaceful. Pretty much all of these encampments and protests are peaceful. Yeah, like there's no violence whatsoever if the Zionists and police don't bring them. This was wholly and entirely unnecessary while BRGs against the student protest cringe. So this is from the Resist WashU Collective. Washington University has the highest tuition, the lowest acceptance rate, and by far the highest endowment of any institution in Missouri. Economic barriers, infamously racist standardized testing, and nepotism have banned many from studying at WashU. To students in St. Louis and beyond, we invite you to struggle with us. Local high school students dream of attending WashU, and many teachers encourage them to study hard and take up extracurriculars to increase their chance of acceptance, knowing their chance of admission is slim. To local high school students and teachers, we invite you to struggle with us. So this is addressed to students in St. Louis public schools, a majority black school district. So whenever people are coming out saying that, oh, non-black people don't give a fuck about black people, Palestinians don't give a fuck about black people. No. There was a similar statement from Chicago yesterday that demands reparations for the atrocities that city has committed in the city's south side. Shit like this is not helpful. Like, who the fuck is this addressed to? Socialists must work to stop any expression of anti-Semitism in the movement. Okay, I agree. As well as any slogans aligning ourselves with conservative anti-Semitic forces like Hamas, the Houthi, or the Iranian state. Neither one of these people, neither one of these states are anti-Semitic. Neither one of these organizations are anti-Semitic. What the fuck are you talking about? Are they conservative? Sure, they're Islamists, but they're not. They're not fucking anti-Semites. They've explained that many times. These self-marginalizing tactics. How are you self-marginalizing when you align with the people who are literally helping the Palestinian people with their putting their fucking bodies on the line? I'm not talking about getting arrested. I'm talking about literally firing fucking missiles at people that are killing Palestinians. Cops in St. Louis love doing this too. If you're trans, they will literally put you in the section of the jail to misgender you. Like if you're a trans woman, they'll put you in with the guys. If you're a trans man, they'll put you in with the girls. They do shit like that. They're ignorant. They were fist bumping each other and laughing while they arrested people. They were telling people that they were going to break their arms. They were telling people that they love the overtime. These people do not care. Then they issued this bullshit statement that they put out to the fucking press. This is what happened. there was a protest medic that was picked up and slammed to the ground by multiple police officers. A woman wearing a keffiyeh was ripped from the circle of protesters and slammed down with a hooked arm around her throat by an officer. An older man with gray hair was forced face down into the ground as officers leaned onto him and zip-tied his hands, and other protesters were picked up and carried away to waiting vans. More than 300 pro-Palestine protesters began a march to Washington University's campus at 3 p.m. on Saturday. The plan was to set up an encampment upon arrival and hold the line as long as possible. By 8:50 in the evening, more than 80 people had been arrested, including Dr. Jill Stein, the Green Party presidential candidate. In an email to students and staff, WashU said, "It quickly became clear through the words and actions of this group that they did not have good intentions on our campus. We also felt strongly that this demonstration had the potential to get out of control and become dangerous." Who made it out of control? Who made it out of control? If the police had left the encampment alone, all it would have been was a bunch of tents, a bunch of people dancing, singing, sharing food, eating baklava. Like there was not, like then they were not there to burn down fucking WashU. You know how you get WashU burned down though? Doing shit like this. You piss people off. You alienate people. They're already mad at you because you're issuing like ignorant ass statements and you already suppressed the protest last week. This is what escalates things. The police escalate shit. And now you've got fucking battles on the campus and the surrounding streets and neighborhoods because you had to get your overtime. You had to play fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle in your fucking riot armor. And here you go. When this group began to set up a camp on the east end of campus in violation of university policy, we made the decision to tell everyone present that they needed to leave. Any individuals who refused to leave after being asked multiple times were arrested. All will face charges of trespassing, and some may be charged with resisting arrest and assault, including for injuries to police officers. We are taking this matter very seriously. For those who are students, we have initiated the university student conduct process. Okay, that is not going to do shit but piss people off even more. And they're doubling down. WashU banned 6 faculty members from contact with students after mass arrests. So these are fucking teachers. These are professors, adjuncts, what have you, at WashU because they got arrested for standing up for what's right. Like these universities, all of these universities teach fucking courses on ethics. They teach courses on protests. They teach courses on resisting oppression. But when you do stuff like this and you actually resist oppression and you actually demand at your university that you pay to attend, that your parents pay to attend, either way, somebody is shelling out so that you can walk through this fucking ivy covered campus. Somebody is paying for you to attend this ivory tower. You are a customer, and this is how they treat their fucking customers. They love using this language. All that shit about academic freedom, freedom of speech, stuff like that, it doesn't matter. Follow the money. This is why these fucking universities need to be made to pay taxes. 6 faculty members from Washington University, 4 of whom were arrested at Saturday's protest, are not only banned from campus, but are forbidden from speaking with WashU staff and students, even in off-campus settings. Where are all the free speech nicks? Where are all the free speech perverts at? Like, you have people that are literally banned from the campus where they work. During a critical part of the academic year, finals are coming up, aren't they? The university administration refused to provide comment on the bans. A total of 100 people were arrested on campus Saturday, including 23 WashU students and at least 4 employees, according to Chancellor Andrew Martin. The students and staff have now been temporarily banned from campus at a critical point in the semester. An adjunct faculty member who has been asked to remain unnamed shares that they were one of the recipients with the ban and that they have been forbidden by the university to meet with students even off campus. So you can't advise students on their coursework. You can't help them prepare for finals. You can't help them do anything. Like, what exactly does this serve? Because you're not going to stop the protests. If anything, you're going to exacerbate them. And now you're probably going to end up with an occupation anyway. Because of shit like this, you just giving people several new demands to rally around. The adjuncts shared that they weren't in the encampment when they were arrested and were instead filming the arrests of students and staff. They weren't even in the encampment. They weren't even in the line of people that were holding hands, that had their arms locked. This is fucking crazy. This is Meg Green. She's a DSA member. I actually like her. She's president of the Board of Aldermen. She was threatened with arrest. Arrestees are being made to sign an agreement that they are banned from campus. This was given to a professor who obviously has classes to teach this week. This is a criminal trespass warning. It says, I, the undersigned, have been warned that I am prohibited from being on any part of the WashU campus, including but not limited to the Danforth, North Campus, West Campus, and the South 40 Residential Campus. I understand that I may be arrested by officers of the Washington University Police Department or any other law enforcement agencies for trespassing if I am found on the campus at any time in the future. Again, this is wicked. This is 1984 shit. How the fuck are you going to ban people from the place where they work or where they go to school that they're paying to attend? So before this, there was a fucking letter issued. I'm so fucking pissed. Like, several of my friends were arrested at this. Matter of fact, one of the guests on this fucking show was arrested at this. Comrade Luke, remember him? Yeah. He took his first arrest. An outraged letter that can be found here says that, on behalf of concerned faculty, staff, and graduate students, we are writing to express our deep concern at the university's arbitrary and heavy-handed response to recent student protests against Israel's ongoing bombardment and starvation of Gaza. The students were protesting because of their moral concerns about Israel's U.S.-backed large-scale killing of Palestinian men, women, and children in Washington University's connection to these events in Gaza. Specifically, they point to the fact that Boeing, a partner of the university, is implicated in the supply of weaponry for what many jurists and scholars have described as a genocidal attack. The students were not violent. They did not destroy property. They simply occupied space. It was disruptive, yes, but it offered a great teaching moment for WashU. The university's immediate response, with no due process, was to summon Washington University Police Department and suspend 3 students and bar them from campus as if they were a threat. And, of course, you have the assholes that are mauling in the comments. Fuck them. This is tomorrow. This is how International Workers' Day is celebrated. Rally for Rafah. Slew and WashU students demand action and accountability. I'm not signing to my fucking Instagram. So, lovely. Lovely solidarity. Even the Starbucks Workers Union is getting in on it. DSA STL is not a co-host. I don't know why. I've asked many people why this is the case, but that is something that we need to change, and I'm actively working to change. Don't just think that I'm just a streamer that sits on my ass. And just madness and chaos. Let you guys know I'm a military nerd, so I talk about like tactics and stuff like that. Like, barricades are good. Like, we need to be learning from Cal Poly Humboldt. We need to be learning from UTA. We need to be learning from Columbia. Like, those are the big 3. Not saying that the other encampments and demonstrations are not important, but like, these 3 campuses seem to be where like tactics are being developed. UCLA too. So these 4 campuses are where like tactics are being developed that the entire movement can learn from. This is also stupid. I've seen 2 DSA members, one of which was local, complaining about PSL supposedly co-opting demonstrations this week. And honestly, like, y'all need to get y'all's priorities straight. Like, why is DSA in my city not endorsing this shit? Like, why? Well, I know why. Because DSA has a pretty crappy rep on Palestine stuff because of their mistreatment of the BDS working group. So a lot of people, I think PYM actually boycotted DSA because of that. But we have to work on rebuilding that. But people seem to be more worried about the fucking stupid ass staff union and keeping a bunch of white petty bourgeois technocrats in clover. So, priorities, people. Whoever's in solidarity with our corpses but not our rockets is a hypocrite and not one of us until victory. This is a good... I call WashU the fucking Zionist castle because that's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much what it is. The storming of the Zionist castle. So this is when they storm the like line of people with linked arms. Like it's just so fucking harrowing. Like look at this. It's like a fucking medieval battle. Like these people are not doing anything. They're not hurting anything. I see like 3 pieces of fucking trash and a protest sign on the ground. Like what is this, a mass littering arrest? Look at them. They're grabbing this dude's legs and they're pulling him off. Look at it. They're going to arrest the girl with the camera that's trying to get his name. How do I think this will affect enrollment numbers at the universities? Honestly, like if they keep up stuff like what they've been doing, like RJ and Daniel, I talked to them last week about the disruption of admitted students day. Like they basically invite all the kids who are admitted and plan on attending WashU to come and like explore and find out about the campus. And like if these disruptions continue, I think a lot of people might be like, you know what, I'm not fucking going there. This is how they treat the people that are already students there. What if something happens to me there? So I definitely think that these things are extremely effective. Like especially like stuff like this. Like getting a degree from WashU is not worth fucking getting your ass beat. And parents in particular, the people who hold the fucking purse strings, they're gonna be like, I'm not sending my kid there so he can get his ass beat and abused because he walks through or attends a protest. That's fucking dumb. Oh hey, all these students in protest, let's just call the cops and get them all thrown in fucking jail. Like that's definitely going to disrupt the protests. That's definitely going to stop what they're doing. This is DSA in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. This was dope. 30,000. Like DSA at other cities is like throwing the fuck down. Like we need to in STL get our shit together. Like I've seen people complaining about staff union, the fucking staff union. Okay, who gives a fuck? Like Palestine is the #1 issue that we need to be focusing on right now. That's what fucking matters. The well-being of a handful of professional managerial class white people and technocrats and policy wonks is not important right now. 30,000 plus people are fucking dead and you're still arguing for a handful of people to eat up 70% of our fucking dues. That's outrageous. That's outrageous. That's petty. That's sectarian. That's factional bullshit. And it's a finger in the eye of the Palestinian people.
Billions on Israel. This is attacking the place. He's got blood on his hands.
Bald comrades in control.
3,000 are dead.
Well, no one in STL DSA leadership has been talking about PSL as they've been totally absent from these protest meeting leadership. Zero visibility for the org and any of them practically. But they also ghosted George Floyd. Some people over there are mad that others get out and do things. I agree. Like, again, there's a pretty entrenched rightist line in DSA and STL, and that's a major reason why we have so few black people. Black people are precious. If you are a socialist organization, you should have a large amount of black people, especially in a city that's almost half black. Why is PSL co-opting the protest? They're not co-opting anything. They're there because they have been training marshals, they have been lending their equipment, they have been leading marches, and they have been coordinating with trusted coalition members for the last 6 months. That's called organizing. Knocking on doors for Cori Bush. Yeah, that's a part of organizing, but it's not the be-all, end-all. It's not the be-all, end-all. And then you cannot complain about another organization taking what you think should be your job if you're not doing your fucking job. I'm sorry, that's not how organizing works. Like, this shit is happening, and all you're doing is complaining about the fucking staff union. And a lot of these things in other cities where DSA is more heavily involved is because of YDSA. If I recall correctly, they wanted to gut YDSA. The people who are literally putting their lives and bodies on the line and leading this shit. Like, what is this? 30,000 people are fucking dead, but the DSA union has filed grievances against the elected political body of our organization, the elected executive body of our organization, for multiple violations of the contract. Yes, they have the right to do this. They are a union, but again, it's fucking dumb. Why would you do this? The DSA is not a fucking, we're not the fucking bosses, okay? Like, we're not the ruling class. This is a temper tantrum. The fact that a socialist organization has allowed a handful of white petty bourgeois skilled technocrats calling themselves a union to throw a public temper tantrum for the past few months is uniquely first world. This is first world bullshit. A boss is an unelected dictator exploiting workers for personal gain. The National Political Committee of the DSA is an elected body of unpaid volunteers who represent tens of thousands of people who actually pay DSA out of their wages for the privilege of being a member. That is the difference. This is what matters. Stopping this is what matters. Standing with Palestine is what matters. And opposing the police. That's what matters. That little petty bullshit that people that y'all are worried about, that doesn't matter. Part of the reason why DSA in particular has so few black members is that the rightist social democrats, the people who are complaining about the fucking union, are some of the most smug, stupid, and condescending white people you could ever hope to meet. They degrade protesting in favor of garden variety union economism and electoralism. Like, I literally ask these people, hey, why are we getting on the ground for these protests? Where is our name on the endorsement fucking for? They're like, oh, it's a protest thing and we need to build, so they want to go work with fucking crooked ass unions. And am I calling all unions crooked? No. By crooked, I mean like people who endorse Biden or, God forbid, Trump, like Sean O'Brien from the fucking Teamsters did. Like, you ought to kiss these people's ass, but the youth are actually showing us what to do. And here you go. This is just another example of why white people can't fucking liberate us. We're going to have to liberate ourselves. They can't even liberate them fucking selves. White people can't even liberate themselves, but they actually think that they're going to liberate us. This is Jill Stein right here. Middle. Older lady with gray hair. Aren't Bolshevik Leninist Trotskyists? Yeah. You joined your local DSA chapter because of me. Based. Maybe they should put me in charge of recruitment. See, and they do this a lot. Like, they will literally pick up a bike and smash you in the fucking face with it. If they don't have riot shields, like, they'll literally use their bikes as a fucking shield. Wow, three people have joined DSA because of me? Wow. So they had to have, like, literally several cities' police departments. I think these are WashU cops. And the guys in brown, those are St. Louis County cops. St. Louis City was there too, but they apparently said that they were staging in Forest Park to defend the rights of the protesters. Obviously, that's bullshit. They were waiting for them to come in, so they were waiting for the county brownies and the WashU police to call them in so that they can start beating their ass too.
Get back! Hey, you get back! You get back!
What are you doing? Fascist fucks! Fascist fucks!
Chaos.
Fascist fucks! You get back!
looked like they were pushing him back for a little bit. The anniversary of this is May 5th. Oh, fuck you, Post-Dispatch. That's the ROTC building burning down at WashU in 1970, I believe. This shit is really making me miss college. I mean, you don't have to be in college to go to the encampments, though. I'm going to rally tomorrow. So, I play my part. BRG coming out in full defense of an organization that enables, defends, and facilitates sexual violence against women. I'm fully aware of those accusations, by the way. I'm not defending PSL from them. Like, they definitely have issues in that regard, to put it mildly. I'm not defending them from those. I'm defending them from, like, sectarian bullshit when they have been on the ground for fucking months, throwing down, and they're consistently to the left of many who malign them on the question of Palestine. The criticisms of PSL in this instance, are unprincipled, petty, and sectarian. That's what they are. And I'm a Maoist. Like, I know what sectarianism looks like because I spent many, many years being sectarian as fuck. And, like, I got nothing out of it. The Maoist movement got nothing out of it. We didn't get a party out of it. We didn't get a revolution out of it. All we got was a fucking headache and a bunch of burnt bridges. That's all. This is the MUG platform, the Marxist Unity Group for YDSA. I'm not a member of MUG. I don't think I'll ever be a member of MUG, but they have some good lines on many things. So they want an internationalist YDSA. So do I. In the age of imperialism, the struggle against capitalism crosses all borders and touches all corners of the earth. The Marxist Unity Group believes that the best way for us to contribute to the global class struggle is by focusing on organizing against our own military police state, which exports terror, despotism, and war all around the world on behalf of a capitalist class that exploits the entire planet. We believe that the main enemy is at home. This is a basic anti-imperialist position. I love it. We support the struggle for democracy, workers' power, and human emancipation everywhere. However, we recognize that our main task in all matters of foreign diplomacy and war is to oppose the imperialist ambitions of our own country. A socialist movement that truly opposes our military police state and stands in solidarity with the global oppressed cannot be built on the basis of actions that coincide with the interests of our ruling class. Rather, it must focus on organizing towards the destruction of the greatest obstacle to worldwide peace and solidarity, the United States government, which uses undemocratic means to keep foreign policy in the hands of our bloodthirsty and piratical ruling class. Having developed into an act of genocide with the full support of the American state and bourgeois civil society, the subjugation of Palestinians at the hands of Israeli apartheid and colonialism requires special attention. YDSA must respond to this crisis by organizing for divestment on college campuses and defending the right to stand in solidarity with Palestine. The defense of anti-Zionist speech from attempts to suppress dissent against the war in Palestine reveals the confluence between a global anti-imperialist struggle and the battle for democracy at home. In the midst of a mounting crisis in the worldwide imperialist system, now is the time to make it clear where we stand. We have no common ground with the empire, and we will organize to dismantle it. As socialist youth, we have a unique vantage point from which to attack the imperialist war machine at one of its primary points of social reproduction: schools. People keep saying this. I like Mike, but people keep saying this. People did not join DSA because of fucking AOC, okay? People did not join DSA because of AOC. People did not join DSA because of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders isn't even a member of DSA. These people always mock communists because we have had cults of personality in the past. I'm not going to lie and tell you that we didn't. But this is a literal cult of personality. Like, why the fuck doesn't... How can we attribute the rise of socialism in the United States to an opportunist? Well, two opportunists, one young and one an old white man. People are not becoming socialists because of a wannabe Nancy Pelosi and an old, done white man. Okay? People are becoming socialists because their material conditions are declining. What keeps me from joining MUG? I'm not a Kautskyite. They're really into Kautsky. I don't like Kautsky. I'm not a fan. It's very eclectic. But I align with them on more things than not. But if I don't have like ideological agreement with somebody, I don't think it would be to my benefit or to anybody else's benefit. Uh, Never mind the organizations for me to join them in an opportunistic way. When everybody found out 21 Savage was British, what black British moment of chaos lives in your head rent free? I think he was born in Dominica and he lived in the UK. People are talking about a fucking no homeless policy and no drugs policy at the oh, they deleted that count. James ratioed them into the ether. But people were saying that, I think this was at the University of Pennsylvania. They were saying that there was a no homeless policy, which is stupid. Many of these people volunteer with the homeless, so they work at homeless shelters like I do. Nobody is going to implement a no homeless policy at a encampment that's led by leftists and anti-imperialist activists. You will literally get canceled if that's found out to be true. There have been restrictions on drug use, primarily as an effort to help make Muslim students and community members at the encampment feel more comfortable in the space. Plus, drugs bring the police. Facilitating trafficking drugs brings the FBI. Nobody wants that. They're looking for any reason. Remember that 5 years ago, this month, students had an encampment at WashU for over a month, and 0 police arrested anybody. This is a huge, wildly unnecessary escalation on the part of WashU and the state. This just shows that, like, this was reformism, okay? Fight for 15. Do workers deserve 15 minutes an hour? $15 an hour? Yes. Workers deserve the world. But this is wild. So, you allow them to camp out on the campus for over a month. But just because they pitch 1 tent, 2 tents, 3 tents, you have the cops come and beat the shit out of them. What's changed? Greetings from my job. My local DSA chapter is kind of weird and I don't feel comfortable around nerdy white people. I don't know how you do it, man. Simple. I went to college. Am I an edgelord? 57.7% say that no, I'm just a Maoist. Okay. So this was heavily repressed. This is from Escalate Network. You should follow them. I love Escalate Network. Why? Because they actually talk about like the tactics behind this stuff. So this is the basis for their existence. Unable to crush the protests with brute force, Columbia University is now opting for counterinsurgency, attempting and failing to use student leaders to divide and police the protesters. Nationally seeing the resilience and growth of the movement following confrontations in New York City and Cal Poly Humboldt, universities will increasingly aim for the method of containment, tiring out the encampments, dividing protesters internally, and appointing amenable leaders, aka co-optation 101. If you remember Ferguson in 2014, if you remember Stockley in 2017, if you remember George Floyd in 2020, it's shit. You can even go all the way back to Occupy. You can go all the way back to the Iraq War protests. You can go all the way back to the Rodney King riots. You can go all the way back to the fucking to the struggle against the WTO in Seattle in '99. They always do this. They always do this. Divide and rule is a lot easier than repress, although they seem to prefer both. So, prioritize unity, encampment growth, and continued destruction. The line between students and non-students must be blurred and ignored. No one person or organization can represent an entire encampment. Negotiations will lead us nowhere. This is about stopping the genocide. The last couple of days have seen the worst bombing in Gaza over the past month, just as the U.S. House approves $26 billion more in aid for genocide. We have not yet dented the war machine. To materially impact and stop the genocide, the encampments have to disrupt its logistics, seeing the American University as one facet of them. I agree. So they took over this. This is Hamilton Hall, I believe, at Columbia, and it was taken over last night. I was actually stranded on the side of the road. That's why I didn't stream last night. Popped a couple tires. But they named it after a child in Palestine who was murdered by Israel and was forced to sit in the car for days with the bodies of her dead relatives. Columbia says it will expel students for occupying Hamilton Hall. It's Hind Hall. So this was last night.
Hey, ho, ho, the occupation has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, the occupation has got to go. Hey, hey.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free
I love to see it. I saw on Resistance News Network's Telegram that there's apparently a take a building challenge. I mean, a little bit of healthy competition is good. So they're starting to pitch tents outside Hamilton Hall. They're basically ignoring the fucking Zionist administration, as they should. Like, this is a national movement. They're basically saying fuck everybody. Like, you can't fucking control us. You can't tell us what to fucking do. You can't tell us what to fucking do. We try to be peaceful. Like, we try to be peaceful in the fucking beginning, and now you're just beating the fuck out of everybody. You're tearing our tents up. You're taking away our food and water. They're even expelling people. They're making kids homeless now. Look at this. Like, there are so many Pulitzer-worthy pictures coming out of these things. Here's a map. Students at Columbia University have created a makeshift system to deliver food to protesters on the second floor of a building they have seized and are occupying. The eternal creativity of the masses. This is one of the same buildings that was occupied during the '68 occupation. Mayor Uncle Tom, Eric Adams, said on Tuesday he would continue to defer to the presidents of New York City colleges, including Columbia University, about whether to send them to police. Well, that's what's out of New York. But yeah, this Jackson Square protest was like brutally repressed. Like, several people had fucking bones broken. You know, this guy is so mid. Finkelstein. Like, he'll say something that's based, but then he wraps it in the most old white man shit. And this response is hilarious.
In a radical sense, one has to exercise in a moment like this.
Why does he sound like he's about to cry?
If for no other reason than for the people.
One person in my area did bring up a good concern. What is this protest going to look like in a month when school's over for the summer? Well, as Maria Roja 17 just said, there's still school in summer. And then for two, like, there have been several demands and attempts to expand these encampments and occupations off of campuses. Like New York City, they didn't just do two-lane, like they tried to take Jackson Park, and that's why the cops came and brutally repressed it. They don't want these spreading off campuses. And somebody even proposed. Yeah, there was a marriage proposal at the Jackson Square encampment, only in New Orleans.
Of Gaza.
And then they added, like, they had, you know, the little just married letters. They used that as part of the barricading. As part of the barricade.
One has to exercise maximum responsibility. Maximum.
This is an old, done man. You know, the Platypus Affiliate Society actually wanted me to be on a panel with this dude. I said no because, like, I don't like well, why would you call yourself the Platypus Affiliated Society? Like, why would you do that? That's weird. They even offered to float my plane ticket and hotel room. I should have took them up on the offer, but I'm already enough of a meme.
To get out of one's navel, to crawl out of one's ego, and to always keep in mind the question, what are we trying to accomplish at this particular moment? That's my view.
So he's basically saying that, like, he doesn't like the term from the river to the sea. He thinks it's too edgelordy. Watch the response.
From the river to the sea, one has to exercise not.
This is a good statement from the International Committee. The International Community actually has been paying attention to these protests that are going on. Like, they've been in firm solidarity with the protesters. The International Committee, because Mayor Wu of Boston, who, if I recall correctly, was like a lot of DSA people worked for her. But this demands that Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox, and Suffolk County District Attorney Kevin Hayden call for an immediate ceasefire and an end to Israeli apartheid in Palestine, drop all charges against students arrested in Boston who are protesting against the ongoing genocide of Palestinians, and call off any further deployments of the Boston Police Department to campus protests for police at Northeastern, Harvard, Tufts, or MIT. More than 38,000 Palestinians have died in Gaza since October. Universities in Boston have responded not by divesting from genocide, by sending campus and city police after students who speak up. So yeah, I put the petition in chat, and you need to sign it. NOLA update. Someone just proposed to their partner at the Gaza Solidarity encampment. They're getting married. And they probably added their letters that they used for the proposal to the barricade. Don't do this. Why would you put a keffiyeh and a Palestinian flag? These are symbols of liberation. Why would you put these on a literal slave owner? That's a no-no. This dude literally ripped the teeth out of his slaves. His teeth weren't made of wood. He literally ripped the teeth out of his slaves to make dentures for himself. If you do this, you're probably in here. Yeah, I read theory. Jackson Hinkle got ran off Emory's campus by Palestinian solidarity activists. Based. I think it was like a panel or something, and one of his fans like invited him there. And of course, they will take any opportunity to get in front of a fucking crowd and spread their bullshit, but they weren't having any of it. This was at UCLA a couple days ago. People are asking what this Asian kid is doing here. I don't know, like what country his parents or grandparents are from, but a lot of Asian kids, Chinese, Korean, in particular, they're from the ruling class back home. Okay, like these people are descended from people that roll with Chiang Kai-shek, like Taiwanese kids that come here. Like they come over here because their parents have money. They send their kids here to be educated. Okay. Or in many cases, they live here and they were born here and they're citizens. But they still have that like fucked up landlord Confucian mentality. I was in AP classes with a lot of Asian kids in high school, and honestly, a lot of those dudes were just as racist as the white people were. Like they were looking at me like I was the fucking affirmative action hire or something, or I was just there to say that we have a black kid in the class. So people think that just because somebody is Asian or of color, that they cannot be racist. That's not the case. Shit, many black people are racist against Asians or prejudiced against Asians. Like a lot of black dudes came back from Vietnam hating Asians because they fought them. So yeah. Do I support the unity of people of color? It has to be on a class basis. If it's not on a class basis, it's just going to be like identity politics, woo bullshit, and that's not going to build solidarity. In San Jose, the Vietnamese community was built by straight up puppet fascists from South Vietnam. They even banned the official Vietnamese flag.
Go listen to your master!
Yeah, he's telling people to go listen to their masters. This dude's fucking family probably owned slaves back home.
Pussy! Pussy! Take your mask off!
Yeah, they were spitting on people too. If this was Ferguson in 2014, all those dudes would have been leaving in fucking body bags. This guy spit on somebody. I'm sorry, but if you spit on a working class black person in Ferguson in 2014, you are not leaving that protest alive. This is an alderman, well, alderwoman from St. Louis, very progressive. Last night was the quickest regionally coordinated police response I've ever seen, and the least was in Ferguson. St. Louis Metropolitan, St. Louis County, Richmond Heights, Clayton, and U-City all involved. WashU gave orders of clearance by any means, brutality against their own students and faculty included. This is what the cops did. But I expanded more on that point. Many Korean and Chinese people in the U.S. are often descended from the pre-revolutionary ruling class back home. Types of people that followed Chiang Kai-shek to Taiwan, the types of people that fled Vietnam after the communists took over. It's the anniversary of that, by the way. Yep, it's the 49th anniversary of the... Wait, 49th? Yeah, 49th anniversary of the Vietnamese people's victory over the puppet regime in Saigon. So many of these people, I think they call it Black April. That's what they call this time period, because they didn't like the fact that the people had taken over Vietnam. So fuck them. Filipinos and working class Vietnamese, Laotian, and Cambodian people are usually cool with us from my experience, but notice I said working class. But if they come from money, you're definitely going to deal with some shit. Like, they don't want their kids marrying black people. They don't want their kids hanging out with black people. They have thoroughly incorporated the anti-blackness of America. Fuck it, kettles the police. If you study tactics well, you can do this too. So this guy was identified as the one that was spitting on protesters. Apparently he's a personal trainer. Apparently he works with Michael B. Jordan. This was hilarious.
Especially at UCLA. So
these people are the biggest fucking attention seekers. Like, bro, if you just sit and do your coursework, do your classwork, go to the gym, go get your fucking boba tea or whatever the fuck they drink, go get your stuff and chill. Why are you, if you disagree with something, why would you constantly expose yourself to things that are going to trigger you? Because they're not actually being triggered. This is Hasbara 101. These people are going so that they can literally record. You remember that dude from Colombia, Shai Davidai? I haven't heard much from him recently. But like, these people go to these demonstrations, they go to these things to get attention for themselves so that they can share it around, and they want people to say stupid shit to them. They want people to like try to troll and meme them so that they could be like, see, these people are anti-Semitic, they're Jew haters, all.
we've been seeing all over the news
But watch this.
the craziness that's happening on college campuses, especially at UCLA. So I decided to come here for myself. Do you mind if I interview?
I'm not going to talk to media.
Excuse me, do you guys want to tell me what's going on here?
No, sorry. I'm not letting any media in the encampment, just so you know.
Okay, we were just standing outside, just trying to. Are we allowed to ask you guys a few questions about it? A lot of us just don't feel comfortable.
I can direct you to media liaison.
We're not gonna interview with you today. Not gonna engage with people that are gonna be pushing us.
This is how you deal with people like this. Like, don't fucking argue with them, because you're not going to win. These people are not like, these are not rational debaters. These are not rational actors. These people are mentally insane. These people are fucking crazy. They see their beloved fucking outpost of American imperialism collapsing, and they have neurosis on top of neurosis. Like, 3 Israeli government officials have been injured in accidents last week. They're so fucked up they can't even drive anymore over there. All the roads are Hamas. You're not going to get anything by debating and arguing with these people.
Never seen anything like this in my life.
So just treat them as they deserve to be treated. Like, ignore them. Or if they put their hands on you, knock the shit out of them.
No, agitators aren't allowed.
Talk to one of our media.
They won't speak to me. No one will speak to me.
There's a desk over there with media.
I've spoken to them. They won't speak to me.
Well, then you can try again.
I've tried, and this lady specifically is telling me I'm an agitator.
Don't engage with agitators in this.
I'm just trying to understand what you're protesting. For some reason, no one.
Yeah, okay. So you know what these people are protesting. You know what these people are protesting. You see the kafiyas, you see the signs, you see the art pieces, the very beautifully done art pieces, by the way, that they've put up. You see all this shit, but you're acting like you don't know what they're protesting for? Do you not watch the news? Do you not go on Twitter? Do you not go on Facebook? You show... Like, you're just acting like you just randomly came upon this protest and you've been living under a rock for your entire life? And you really expect people to believe and engage with that? You're approaching in bad faith. That's why nobody is talking to you.
From your guys' team will let you guys speak, and I don't know why you guys can't speak to me.
Now she's crying. White woman tears.
And like, this is so intimidating and scary for you guys to be.
Then fucking leave. Why did you go in the first place? Leave. Don't go. Get in your car and drive back to the fucking... Bro.
Standing here. I literally have walked around for the past 2 hours just asking peaceful...
So you wasted 2 hours of your fucking time. You were not asking peaceful questions. You're asking leading questions, and you're trying to catch people up so that you can be like, see? These kids don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Questions like, what's going on here today? Why are you guys here? And no one can speak to me. And you guys are...
And that's fake laughing.
Laughing. I don't understand how this is funny. I genuinely wanted to learn from you.
No, you didn't. Open up a fucking book.
And I wish we could have ended in a hug. That's actually what I hoped from this.
Nobody wants to hug you.
That's my
You stink.
dream from all of this. That we could understand each other.
I think we need more barricade, guys.
People in Gaza have been asking us to escalate for 6 months and for 75 years. They cannot afford for us to win any longer. We will defend Rafah. I hate community notes. This is what they're sending the people in. This is old, smashed up, expired candy. This is what they're dropping from those fucking airplanes onto Gaza. Best before February 2024. Yeah, but yeah, like, y'all need to pay attention to stuff like this. Like, if you're thinking about going to or setting up an encampment, like, think about barricades. Think about how to harden your spaces. You know, Yemen, for such a poor country, has some of the best fucking produced videos that I have ever seen. Like, this blows anything that the Israelis produce out of the water. Americans also dropped expired food and meat, which is actually disrespectful because eating meat is actually against some of their religions. Well, yeah, they did the same thing in Bosnia, by the way. Like, they were dropping expired cans of sliced up minced pork or some shit on Bosnians who are overwhelmingly Muslim.
في هذا المقام أقول للشعب الفلسطيني في غزة وفي سائر فلسطين، أقول للإخوة المجاهدين في فلسطين في غزة العزة، لستم وحدكم.
So they have a whole unit to produce these videos. That's dope. Bernie and AOC are not going to bring socialism to America. Bernie can't even say the word genocide, I don't think. Well, no, AOC can't even say the word genocide. And Bernie is an old white man. Quit relying on them. This dude is complaining about fucking signs. Of course PSL is going to bring signs. They're an organized political formation that operates under the principle of democratic centralism. So it's a lot easier than when you just rely on people to just be like, hey, bring this, be here. No, that's the superiority of democratic centralism. I'm not a PSL member. I'm not a PSL fan. I think they're revisionists, but still, like, come on, man. Just in case you want to know whose side the pigs are. The Zionists are cheering as the cops come. They should play the fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm theme or send in the clowns as these morons marching. This makes my blood boil with rage.
About time, baby! About time! About time, baby!
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Pathetic. I've seen enough fucking pigs this week.
Anymore.
It's always a good time to listen to Malcolm.
They used to have a saying that
if white leftists would read George Jackson and read Malcolm and read Mao, they would actually be somewhat tolerable.
One doesn't have a Chinaman's chance. But they don't say that anymore. They used that expression back when China was weak. But now since Mao Zedong has been successful in making China a strong country, the Chinese have more chance than anybody else. So this saying has become outdated. Well, just as it took a strong China to give a Chinese person respect wherever that Chinese person is found on this earth, when we get a strong Africa, the person of African origin or African ancestry will be respected.
Note that he said a strong Africa, like he was a Pan-Africanist. He was a Pan-Africanist. He was a person that believed that Africa would be better off if it was united. If it was united militarily, if it was united economically, if it was united politically even. And that's why I laugh at these FBA people. Like, you can, the white man has been on divide and rule bullshit. Like, that's how they conquered this country from the indigenous people. They played one indigenous nation off another because they knew that if the indigenous ever united, I mean, they did unite. They united under Pontiac, if I recall correctly. They united under Tecumseh. And each time they had hell to pay. They had trouble. So when you're fighting a divided and weak enemy, you're probably going to win. Just like when you are going up against an organization that doesn't apply democratic centralism, that can't take these 5 fingers and form them into a fist, you're probably going to out-organize them. That's why PSL dominates over these anarchist affinity groups, over groups that have to wait for everybody to get on one accord and shit like that. Democratic centralism is an objectively superior method of organizing. It's just that simple. It's an objectively superior method of decision making. You consult, you study a situation, and yes, there is room for debate and argument if there is genuine democratic centralism, but at the end of the day, after that vote is taken, you abide by that vote. Meantime, in DSA, we have people who are raising the fucking red flag of go fuck yourself over votes that they lost. That's chaos. That's madness. That's not going to happen. I would definitely love to see DSA one day become a properly Marxist democratic centralist organization. We will be far more effective and far more of use to the working class than we are now.
Respected any place on this earth, even in America. But he will not be respected in America until Africa is strong, just as the Chinaman wasn't respected abroad until China became strong.
He was a leader who knew that self-reliance is the only security for lasting freedom and independence. This is why he rejected the claims for white participation in the leadership of the Afro-American freedom movement. This is why he respected the example of the Chinese people in their revolutionary struggle. How did he view the success of China in developing nuclear weapons for her defense?
Well, I think it's one of the greatest things that has ever happened because Up until now, the nuclear devices have been in the hands of Europeans. They've exercised a monopoly over the nuclear weapons, or over the ability to produce nuclear weapons. But now the Chinese have evened it. They've equalized it by...
Robert F. Williams, the author of Negroes with Guns, called the nuclear bomb the freedom bomb.
Being successful by being a non-white or non-European nation, and at the same time developing successfully the ability to produce nuclear weapons. So as far as I'm concerned, it was a very good thing, and I do hope that they are able to build bigger ones and better ones every day, because the only
hey, we call Malcolm a tanky for this today.
Language that the European power, the language of power, and a dark nation has or speak the language that these imperialists understand. And China has developed the ability to be in that position, and as long as she can speak the language that they understand, it's better for the other dark countries.
Yes.
College students aren't having enough sex, so they're turning to anti-Israel protests. Did they realize like how many hookups happen because of or at protests? Do they have any idea? These people have never been to a protest in their life. There are people who are together because of Ferguson. There are people who are together because of George Floyd. There are people who are together because of fucking Stockley, because they saw each other at a fucking protest. Come on, man. I love this dude. This is Comrade Luke. He says that the jail he was held in tonight was nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to the conditions of countless Palestinians, including children, have endured in Zionist prisons for decades. The moments of pain of one cop tripping you so another cop can tackle you is nothing more than fleeting dew on blades of grass in the morning compared to the perpetual agony millions of Palestinians have been subjected to for decades. In light of this, the necessity of fighting harder and with more intensity is obvious, and in light of my experience at the WashU encampment, I absolutely believe that we can and will win. They had to get cops from 3 to 4 different cities and counties and kept having to wait to get more and more vans to arrest 80 people. I'm only one person, and it took 5 cops to capture me because they're slow and unable to think on their feet, unlike us revolutionaries who have experience bobbing and weaving through the chaos of the crowd. Furthermore, now that I know their methods and tactics better, it would probably take at least 8 cops to capture me again. It takes a frankly comedic amount of cops to take down one person, but whereas the number of people joining the police is only shrinking every time a mass arrest happens, there's a bigger protest in response. Our ultimate victory is a mathematical inevitability. There's really nothing more to be said. Like, this comrade has studied Maoism and anarchism. He identifies as both, and he's come to the correct conclusions, and he's putting his body in the service of the people. The Palestinian nation measures 180 li. 1 li equals 500 miles. Not letting go of a single inch to the enemy. Pick up your gun and your pen quickly. Hungry people are crying silently in the bloody wind and rain. We need heroes in this turbulent world to liberate Israel and America. This is one of the working class colleges in New York, Community College of New York. They were laughing. They told us they'd break our arms. They told us they were happy to make overtime. They told me they loved being cops. Death to all. One of the deans at Columbia, Rosen Mitch, has convened meetings with veterans who served in the IDF, directing them, using them as mercenaries to counter pro-Palestine student activities and to actively disrupt pro-Palestinian advocacy on campus. So this lady who was paid by these students to do a job has met with veterans of the military of a foreign power to enact violence against American residents and citizens. Again, Dean Rosen Metsch has convened meetings with representatives of a literal foreign powers military to enact violence and impinge upon the constitutional rights of American citizens at an American university. Yeah, that's where we are. You guys want to learn how to take over a building? Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can zoom in. Not everybody has good eyes. I sure was fucked up. Okay, so barricading doors. Push bar doors by the classic method prevent the push bar from pushing by clamping webbing to it. Attach the clamps to a structural support with the length of metal cable. Okay. If you have a door with a turning handle, loop one end of a cable lock around the door handle. Tie the other end to a structural support or loop it around another door handle. Doors with no handles. These are almost impossible to secure without damaging the doors. Unless they open into the occupied space, avoid them. If they can't be avoided, screw and nail them shut. Windows. Unless they're plexiglass, the easy way for the police to open a window is to brick it. Cover it with plywood, a metal grate, or both. To defend a march, overlap two pieces of 72 by 25.75 inch corrugated steel for a total size around 46 by 72. Screw vertical wooden supports directly to the metal, preventing flex. Attach horizontal supports to the vertical supports. The 6 utility handles are attached as shown. The goal of this arrangement is to allow a maximum number of people to hold the shield while remaining protected by it. A trash can shield. Cut a trash can 40 to 45 gallons in half. Cut 4 holes in the trash can as shown above. Thread 2 lengths of rope hose or bite tube side by side through these holes. Stack cardboard on the inside of the trash can, cutting holes in it to feed the straps through. Finally, cut a corresponding set of holes in a trash can lid and put it against the cardboard. Tie off the straps so they form 2 vertical handles which the shield's user will slip the forearm through. Necessary tools: angle grinder, bolt cutters, crowbar. A lot of shit. You guys want to read it? I'll link you to it. All right, let's see what else. Let's see what's on YouTube.
From Washington University. Good evening, I'm Laura Barczewski. Brent Solomon has the night off. In the last 2 hours, police have detained dozens on the Washington University campus. The day started as pro-Palestinian protest students and community members set up an encampment near WashU around 4 p.m. And now dozens have been detained, including Green Party presidential candidate Jill Stein. One of the organizers of these protests was Resist WashU. They've been sharing updates all night, and here's a look at their Instagram page where you can see students being put into handcuffs. Resist WashU also told 5 on Your Side they've been busy assisting those who were detained. They shared these images when things began to escalate. 5 on Your Side's Annie Krall has been out there since this protest started. She is at the campus now. Annie, what can you tell us? What's happening right now?
Laura, I just spoke with a demonstrator moments ago who told me that she saw police knocking people to the ground just here at WashU, where the encampment was, just behind me. In fact, they were watching the encampment with some of those people, and it was actually hundreds of folks out here in the crowds, and it was WashU students as well as non-affiliated.
And they always try to like draw a division between students and protesters. Like, you can be one and the same. You don't have to go to a place to attend or like engage in action at that place.
It's harder and
this is Comrade Luke, by the way, upon his release from jail.
Harder. Palestine will be free within my lifetime.
WashU says 3 police officers were injured, including a concussion, a broken finger, and a groin injury.
They probably did all 3 of those things to themselves.
We asked if anyone from the university could sit down with us for an interview. They said no one was available.
Of course they did. Y'all are gonna learn.
From one of the groups in the liberal movement.
No. Don't trust the liberals. They will betray you.
Hey, look, there's Genocide Joe with Jim Crow Strom. They seem very happy to be in each other's presence. The Black Panthers understood something very well. If you want to keep a protest peaceful against a violent and oppressive regime, you better stay strapped. Okay, I don't like this type of reductionism. Like, having a gun, a shotgun or a rifle or a pistol, it's really not all that against people. Like, do you all realize the cops have shit that they will not let us know about until they pull it out? Like, they have devices that can literally fuck your cell phone up forever. They got devices that can immediately brick your phone. They've got devices that can melt the eyeballs out of your head. They've got devices that can fry your brain. They've got devices that can rupture your eardrums. Okay, like the police are not afraid of your fucking little rifle. They'd rather not have to deal with it, but still. Do I like guns? Of course I do. I'm an American. A Missourian at that. Guns are good. If it wasn't for guns, like my people, black people wouldn't have any rights. There would have been no civil rights movement. My people were literally freed from slavery by a fucking war over the bodies of hundreds of thousands of people. Discipline and coordination with room for fluidity is key. Like, the Panthers were disciplined and organized, and they had the people backing them up. Like, when the fascists, the pigs, would come and trash or shoot up Panther offices, like, they were specifically aimed for pictures of Huey in the windows. Like, the masses of the neighborhood, people who were, like, previously not political, they would come and help the Panthers clean their office up. Rifles alone are no good. You have to have the people behind you. The people are everything. If you don't have the people, put the fucking gun away. Who is the character you were slowly turning into? I've always fancied myself the Tywin Lannister of the communist movement. So this was written by the Chancellor's office at WashU. This is the most dystopian shit I've ever read. Dear Washington University community, Saturday was a dark, sad day for WashU. A large group of individuals came to campus intending to disrupt, do harm, and interfere with educational activities in campus life. How the fuck are they defining harm? What I've seen, the only people who enacted harm were the police. When the group began to set up an encampment, which is in clear violation of our explicitly stated policies, we asked them to leave multiple times. They did not leave voluntarily, so we made the decision to peaceably remove them. Unfortunately, they physically resisted, as people will tend to do when you try to drag them away by their legs. In the process of making a total of 100 arrests, 3 police officers received significant injuries. A concussion, a groin, somebody got kicked in the fucking balls. And, what was the other one? A broken finger, probably the pinky. Among those arrested were 23 WashU students and at least 4 employees. To our knowledge, the rest of the individuals were not our students or employees. That doesn't mean that you have the right to brutalize them. Everyone arrested is facing criminal charges for trespassing. How are you going to trespass on your own university's campus, though? Like, WashU is an open campus. It's not like it's a hidden secret of St. Louis. You can literally just walk right onto the campus. And for some, resisting arrest and assault. For those who are students, we have also initiated the university student conduct process. We are taking what happened very seriously. At WashU, we fully support free expression. So why are you policing brutally free expression? We encourage our students to use their voices to speak up about issues they're passionate about. But when they speak up about issues that they're passionate about too passionately, then we're going to brutalize the fuck out of them. But to be clear, our campus is a place for our community to advocate and debate. Our expectation is that members of our community can protest and express their strongly held views with signs, chants, and speeches. All 3 of those were present, so long as they don't resort to actions that cause harm. Again, how was harm caused? Hurting the feelings of Zionists is not causing harm. I'm black. If I let shit hurt my feelings, I would be in a fucking psych ward eating Jell-O. On numerous occasions this semester, this academic year, and throughout our history, we've supported our students as they've held peaceful on-campus demonstrations on a variety of topics. These have taken place without interruption, as long as they have followed our policies, which are in place to promote safety and ensure the university is able to fully function in support of our mission and also invest in Boeing. We watched this protest have spiraled out of control out of the campuses across the country in recent months. We are not letting this happen here. What happened yesterday was not a peaceful protest by our students. This was something else. The majority of this group were not WashU students, faculty, or staff. Some of the protesters were behaving aggressively, swinging flagpoles and sticks. Some were attempting to break into locked buildings or to deface property. There were chants that many in our community find threatening and anti-Semitic. Okay, so words mean things, okay? You cannot just say something is anti-Semitic. You have to prove why. That's like me saying that somebody is anti-black because they don't like the red color of my shirt. It's immature and it's not a way to debate. When the group initially set up in front of Olin Library, our police dispatch received numerous calls from students who were inside the library, terrified that they were in harm's way. Get a fucking grip. Grow the fuck up. Read your book. When the group moved to Tisch Park, they began to set up another encampment and took to social media to invite others to join them. They refused to take down their tents, as instructed multiple times by the police. We will not permit students and faculty. We certainly will not permit outside interests. Okay, Boeing is an outside interest. To take over Washington University property to establish encampments to promote any political or social agenda. You allowed fucking Fight for 15 activists. I think they're Fight for Union now. You allowed Fight for 15 activists to set up fucking tents. Wasn't there an Occupy WashU too? I can't remember. This is ridiculous. This is fascism. Literal fascism. A message to the scum of nations and pigs of the earth. We will see who besieges who. This is from Cal Poly Humboldt. God damn, that loud. Watch how they force the cops out. They really hate that fucking water bottle.
Don't fucking grab them! Go home! Get the fuck out! Go home! Fuck up!
There's nothing that brings a smile to my face easier than seeing cops with looks of fear on their face.
You pig! Don't beat us like you beat your Get the fuck out! What are you doing? Go home! Get the fuck out of here! Get away! You're hurting kids! You're hurting students! You're hurting students! You said no for this! You shut the fuck up for this! This is your career! You're hurting Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! They're beating us! fucking student by the hair! Fuck you! They grabbed the student by the hair! Leave our fucking friend alone! You're hurting dignity! Where's your fucking dignity? You're hurting students! Where's your dignity? Do you beat your kids with those hands? Where's your fucking dignity? What the fuck? Stop! Get the fuck out of here! They're beating students! You're beating students! You're beating students! The fuck out of here! Disengage! Stay the fuck out of here! This fucking engage! Fuck you!
You love to see it. You love to see it. But yeah, they were all together. They didn't like let themselves get broken up, and that's why they were able to force the cops out. Look at this fucking Uncle Tom.
Get off of this! Hey! What is
That's the chief of police at Georgia State.
wrong with you?
No, University of Georgia.
Hey, stop! You just
I'm fucking busted ass suit on. This happened in Rio the other day. A literal fucking drug war, if you will. Looks like some shit out of fucking Call of Duty. All this shit has happened under Lula. I thought Lula was supposed to stop this shit. The firebomb Walmart tweet wasn't good. It was just further evidence liberals have never organized in their entire lives and have zero interest in sacrificing their comfort for anything greater than themselves. Well, I wouldn't say that liberals haven't organized it. It's organized towards stupid shit. They're organized to keep Democrats in office, and they organize for all sorts of other little penny-ante-ass reforms that never even get accomplished. So, Zionists threw rats that may or may not have been infected with the biological agent into the encampment at UCLA. So we have animal cruelty and attempting to cause a catastrophe. And just being fucking gross. But yeah, like apparently people were seeing injection sites on the mice. So they shot these mice up with something and dumped them in the fucking, by the fucking encampment, hoping that they would spread throughout the encampment and give people whatever the fuck they injected these mice with. Like, do you have any idea how fucking evil you have to be to actually go through this shit? A backpack full of mice?
You get it? Yes.
Those little lab rats.
Are they gonna detain the girl or no? She fixing where she actually was. So they threw rats this way. Right now, no check. You get it?
That's fucking crazy. They must think they're still in fucking Israel. Oh, here's more photos from Saturday. I love how our local trots have borrowed Maoist aesthetics. This is the Revolutionary Communist Party, I think. They're formerly the IMT, but they look like Maoist looked. Like, this is how my old org used to turn out. Red flags. They even bit our colors, red and white. We stole them from the Indian Maoists, but whatever. Again, how is this violent? How is this violent? What is the cause for arresting these people? They're standing in a circle, holding each other's arms together. How is this violent? Jill Stein, an old fucking white lady there. What was Jill Stein going to do? Tell you not to get the fucking vaccine, maybe? What justifies this? I'll tell you what justifies it in the eyes of the university. They're driving away donors. They're trying to make them lose money. Like, one of the main demands of the WashU occupation and protest is divest from Boeing because of its complicity and active engagement in violent acts against the Palestinian people. By violent acts, I of course mean genocide. But WashU is a business. These universities are businesses. This is Megan Al-Yaghareen, and this is Alicia Sonia. The police actually threatened to arrest both of them. They threatened to arrest the president of the St. Louis City Board of Aldermen, Megan, and they threatened to arrest a sitting St. Louis alderwoman, Alicia. It's fucking wild. Barbarism. Today marks yesterday marked the 31st anniversary of the Los Angeles uprising's beginning. Years of systematic racism and militarized policing led to the uprising of LA's black population. There were a lot of Latinos involved, too. That is a Pulitzer. Somebody said that Israel, if it was pushed, would use nuclear weapons on Mecca. So there's 2 billion Muslims in the world. Most people have 2 feet. So you got to have 4 billion feet up your ass if you do that to Mecca. But go ahead, try it. And finally, white people. You're not going to make me feel guilty for shit that y'all did to other white people. I'm sorry. I don't have a white guilt complex.